questions, comments as the presentation is going on, do use the chat box in here. Do type everything in there. Let us know what you think, whether it's a question, whether it's a comment, whether it's an appreciation of something that has been shared. Do share it with us. We would get you the answers that we can get. If we can't get it now and we need to do it later, we'll do that also for you. And without wasting much time, we're going to go straight into our first presentation. And our first presentation has to do with preventing home accidents. How do we prevent home accidents? What are some of the things that we need to do to be able to prevent home accidents? Well, we have one of our own, one of our very own, Dr. Rachel Ofe. So Dr. Ofe is working with, I say our own, so then you know that the person is from Mission Pediatrics. She works with Mission Pediatrics and also a resident pediatric at Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Aside that, she is also married with a daughter, a very beautiful one, and she is almost done with her Master of Public Health at the University of Ghana. So who else would we go and call to come and help us understand home accidents? What I'll do is that we'll introduce each speaker as and when they are coming, so we don't get everything like that. But before we go on, we have a poll that we would like you to take for us. Help us get to know who we have here. And please let me know if you can see it. Is the poll visible? You can just show by thumbs up or tell me if it is visible. Yes, please help us know. Thank you. Help us know who we have here. Let us know the members here. Those who are using phones, I think the last time God helped us understand that is the three dots up there. So kindly click on it, you would see it. So we get to know our populace. Let us know our audiences that are here today. How many people are parents or caregivers? How many educators? How many health professionals do we have? These things help us to tailor things to your need. So do fill it for us. Okay. I think I have about 32 people in attendance, but I have only, okay, still ongoing, 18 people who have filled it. Okay. Dr. Fair.
Yes, please.
Yay. So Dr. Fair is ready for us.
Yes,
Would like
please.
to bring her on board so she starts or sets the ball rolling. Dr. Fair, please, your audience.
Yes, please. So please, I'll share my screen now. Please, can we see the screen?
I can see it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So please, I'm Dr. Rachel Ofe, and today we are going to talk about preventing home accidents. Um, I think I'll just show my face briefly, then I'll turn off my camera so that the network can be great. Okay. Thank you. So please, can we still see the screen?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
we can.
Okay, thank
But
you.
it's
So
not in
let's start.
slideshow.
Oh, is it on slideshow now?
Nope.
Hey, how about now?
I think you need to click on it again. The slideshow.
Let me stop sharing and try again.
Okay.
How about now?
Your screen is here, but the slideshow is not on.
Oh,
Apart from the bottom slideshow, I think you can go up and somewhere on top and do slideshow, I think. I'm not sure. Is it file or view or
No, it's not file. Please go back.
oh
Slideshow is up there after animations. There's slideshow. I don't know whether that
okay.
one would work. Okay, so from beginning.
Is it on slideshow now?
no, but
Oh,
I think you can just go on if it's not going to change.
Okay, but these are the slides moving.
it's currently on outline.
Yeah, introduction.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay, all right. Thank you. So this is my outline for the presentation.
Dr. Fair, sorry to budge in. If it's not working, could we increase the view so that others can see it clearly?
Okay.
So you see where the slideshow at the bottom? Aha.
Is it okay?
I think
Yes.
so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right. So today we are talking about preventing home accidents. And then usually when we talk about accidents, people usually relate to road traffic accidents or accidents in outdoor activities. However, the place where people regard as the safest place, that is their home, hides a lot of hazards. And then the most common place for young children to be injured is in or around their homes. Now, according to the World Health Organization, every year about 830,000 children die from home accidents worldwide. That brings it to about 2,000 deaths per day. And in addition to these numbers, millions of children suffer injuries that require long term hospitalization and rehabilitation. So now, what is an accident? An accident is an unfortunate occurrence that happens unexpectedly and unintentionally, and usually results in harm, injury, damage, or loss. So the injury we are talking about could be mechanical, like what happens when a child falls down. It could be thermal, it could be electrical, chemical, or radiation. Now, what are the risk factors or what predisposes children to these home accidents that we are talking about? Now, children, especially those under 5, are naturally curious and eager to explore their environment. So they want to see everything, they want to touch everything, they want to go everywhere. And then that leads them to investigate objects and spaces without fully understanding the potential dangers. On the other side of the coin, they lack the cognitive development and experience to fully grasp the risks associated with everyday objects and situations. So now the home environment, including the presence of stairs, balconies, sharp objects like scissors, cleaning products, and other hazards, can significantly increase the risk of accidents. Inadequate supervision, particularly for younger children, can leave them vulnerable to these hazards that we are talking about. Other risk factors include the child's development and behavior. So at the age of 3 months, children will start to wriggle and roll. If you leave them on high tables or on the couch, they can easily roll to the floor. At 6 months, they are sitting up. At 9 months, they are crawling, trying to reach for objects and putting it into their mouth. At 8 months, they are mobile and exploring the world, running around excited. So, poisoning, for example, is linked to the grasping and drinking behavior of children aged 1 to 3 years. while falls are related to the stage of learning to walk. Other risk factors include the anatomy of these children. So they have a narrower airway compared to adults, meaning that every small amount of foreign material can cause significant obstruction. Also, their skin is delicate and tender. That makes them susceptible to bruises, scrapes, and burns. So, what are the common home accidents? These are the ones we are going to talk about. We have falls, burns and scalds, poisoning, drowning, and then threats to breathing, so choking, strangulation, or suffocation. So, first of all, we'll start with falls. Falls are normal parts of childhood. The child is learning to crawl, to walk, to run, to jump, and explore the physical environment. They are definitely prone to fall. And then, fortunately, most falls are of little consequence, and most children fall many times in their life without incurring serious damage. However, injuries result when the resilience of the human body and then the capacity of the contact surface to absorb the energy transferred is beyond. So, the injuries could include minor bumps or bruises to serious fractures, cuts, and then traumatic brain injuries. So, what is a fall? According to the World Health Organization, a fall is an unplanned event where a person comes to rest on the ground floor or a lower level, and it could either be on the same level, like a child trips and falls, or from one level to another, like falling from a height. So, falling from high surfaces, slipping, tripping, falling down the stairs, falls from furniture like the bed or the couch are common causes of falls in young children. But in older children, it could be from the playground or when they are pushed by a friend. So, what are the risk factors or what predisposes children to fall? Inadequate adult supervision. When a child is learning to walk, moving around, and then the child is not properly supervised, they can easily fall. And then we talk about age. We've already spoken about it that children are curious, they are naturally curious. However, their curiosity to explore their surroundings is not matched by their capacity to respond to danger. And then as they become older, they tend to engage in daring acts which can predispose them to fall. So infants can fall from furniture or caregivers' arms, and then toddlers may fall when learning to walk. I heard of a case where a mother was breastfeeding the baby and then she was woken up by the grandmother that the child has fallen down. So yes, it's possible for infants to fall from the caregiver's arms. And then for gender, males are more predisposed to falls because they are more likely to involve in risk-taking behaviors. And then other some underlying conditions could also predispose children to fall. Then when we look at the home environment, if there's an unsecured furniture, if there are open windows, lack of baby gates on stairs, children, it predisposes children to fall. And then consumer products, so changing tables, cots, strollers, baby walkers, high chairs. And then a playground that lacks the proper safety standards, like a swing which is rusted, can predispose children to fall. So, how can we prevent our children from falling? That's if possible. Now, preventing fall related injuries in children is a global priority due to the significant morbidity, high health costs, and then risk of death, especially from head injuries. And then preventive measures must be able to balance these two. Protecting them, we should be able to allow them to also explore their physical environment. So now how can we prevent these falls? So identifying, replacing or modifying unsafe products has been a leading strategy to prevent injuries from falls. Okay. So what we can do is constantly check floor surfaces for wear and tear, moving around our house to see if there's any wear and tear that could be fixed. We should try and keep floors free of toys and obstructions. Children can easily slip on these toys and then fall. Then we should try and keep the floor dry. Once water pours, we should make sure to clean it up. Then fit a safety gate at the top and bottom of stairs. These stairs should be well lit. And windows and doors must be locked to avoid misadventure by children. Avoid placing stepstones such as a chair next to a window. So we see the child in the picture. The child is looking at the window, wondering what could possibly be beyond that window. sees a chair, climbs onto it, and then the unthinkable happens. So, if possible, we should avoid placing these chairs next to windows because children are going to climb, trying to see what's beyond the window. Also, we should ensure that bed rail of the baby cot is raised when the baby is in the cot. Then securely fitted and use a securely fitted safety harness in the strollers and then the high chairs where the baby sits to eat. We should make sure that babies are securely fastened to it so that they don't fall. Then exercise close supervision when toddlers are learning to walk. Never, ever, ever leave babies unattended on raised surfaces. So when we look at the mother, she just turned her head just for a minute or even just for a second to pick up wipes, and then the baby is rolling to the floor. So make sure that everything you need is available on the changing table so that you wouldn't have to turn your head aside even for a second. So what to do if there is a fall? First of all, is not to panic. You assess for injuries. So if there's a minor bump, you encourage the child to rest. You could apply cold compresses. You could give pain relief. And then you monitor for delayed injuries because some injuries may not show there and then, but then come on later on. Then look for red flags. So if there's loss of consciousness, if there's vomiting, if there's confusion, the child is having difficulty breathing, if there's severe bleeding, there are seizures, then you have to seek urgent medical care. If there is bleeding, what you could do is to apply direct pressure to the site with a clean cloth to help stop the bleeding, and then you elevate the injured limb. So now we want to talk about burns. So we see a child who sees her pants sticking out and stretches out her hand to touch it. And we see a toddler crawling her way to a hot spot on the fire. So now burns refers to injuries to the skin and underlying tissues caused by heat, chemicals, electricity, or radiation. So when we talk about heat or thermal burns, it could be from hot objects or contact burns, and it could be from flames. Now, as we said earlier, children are more vulnerable to burns because their skin is thinner and tender. And then their skin is very thin and very vulnerable. And then also because of their tendency to explore their environment. Now, there was a study at the Burn Center at Kolebu Teaching Hospital. It found that 70.1% of all pediatric burns were children from age 1 to 5. Hot water was the leading cause of burns in these children. And the mortality rate was 21%. That means for every 100 children who presented to the burn center with burns, 21 of them died. And then a higher body surface area was a predictor of mortality. So, what are the risk factors? What predisposes these children to burns? Sorry. Okay. So, as we said, as we continue to say that children are naturally curious. They want to touch everything. They want to see everything. And for older children, their increased independence and exploration can lead to burns from flames. For example, they trying to play with matches. Then the kitchen and bathroom contains numerous potential burn hazards such as hot stoves, ovens, hot water, and electrical appliances. In homes where children may have easy access to matches, lighters, gasoline, or other flammable materials, there's an increased risk of burns. So I just heard of a case that happened yesterday where a child, I think about a 5-year-old, was holding a matches, was telling the grandfather that he was going to turn on the gas. The grandfather thought he was not going to do it. The child went to turn on the gas. The grandfather got burnt. The child himself also got burnt. So if children have easy access to these matches, they can increase their risk of burns. What again can predispose these children to burns? So if they are so inattention or inadequate supervision can contribute to burns if children are not being watched closely. Then unsafe equipment, cooking on open fires, as we saw in the first picture, exposed electrical outlets and cords. All these can cause electrical burns. And then children with uncontrolled epilepsy appear to be at greater risk for injuries. But again, when you put hot drinks at the edge of tables or on tablecloth, holding a child and at the same time holding a hot drink, we should always hold one at a time. Never hold a child and at the same time hold a hot drink or hot water. Children playing in the kitchen whilst adults is cooking. And then when the pan handle is sticking out in front of stoves, they would want to reach and touch it. And then keeping irons within reach of children, all these predispose the children to burns. So what can we do to prevent our children from getting burns? That's if possible. So increase knowledge about burns among young children. We should try as much as possible to educate our children on burns. But one thing we know about children is that if you tell them, let's say, don't light the match, it can cause fire, they will definitely want to light the match to see the fire that you are talking about. So when we are educating them, let's try and be dramatic. I mean, try and explain to them what exactly can happen. So maybe you can be like, hey, if you light this fire, the way you will burn and you'll be screaming and you'll be in pain, something like that. Let's try and dramatize the situation so that they wouldn't want to do it at all. Then for adults, we should never hold a hot drink or food and a child at the same time. Ensure milk or other food stuff is at reasonable temperature before feeding. If you are breastfeeding a child or you are giving a child breast milk and we are warming it, please let's test the temperature before we feed the child with it. And then when running a bath for a child, always test the water temperature beforehand. You never assume. So it's advised to pour in the cold water first before the hot water. Never assume. You always check the temperature beforehand. All hot objects, including an iron, should be placed out of reach of children, and they must not be placed near the margin of a table. And if possible, we should avoid using tablecloth, because for children, when they see the tablecloth, all they see is something hanging from the table. They stretch their hand to see what is that hanging from the table. They pull it, and then if there's a hot liquid on it, it can just pour on them. Matches and lighters should be placed out of reach of children. We should also ensure proper fence or door is installed at the entrance of the kitchen. Such must be closed at all times, and then instruct children not to go into the kitchen. While cooking, we should try and pay extra attention to the stove so that if there's a pan on fire, we turn it inwards towards the wall and not outwards. And if possible, we should install proper cover to sockets so that they are not exposed. So, what should we do if there's a burn? Always do not panic. You should not commence first aid until we've ensured our own safety. For example, if it's an electrical burn, we should switch off the electrical current. We shouldn't put toothpaste or soy sauce or any other ointment on the injured site. And please let's not puncture any blister with a needle or pin. So we could stop the burning process by removing clothing and then irrigating the wound. So you can run the site under tap water for about 10 to 20 minutes. But if the child is feeling cold, we stop. If it's a flame injury, we can allow the child to roll on the ground or apply a heavy blanket. If it's a chemical burn, we remove or dilute the chemical agent by irrigating the site. And always obtain medical care because these burns can easily become infected. So it's best we visit the hospital and then the wound is treated appropriately. So next we would want to talk about poisoning. We see a child here who is trying to pour medicine herself, and then we see another child who is excited to have discovered the cabinet where they keep disinfectant. Now, accidental poison is a common problem among young children. It's easy for parents and carers to underestimate the ability of their young children to reach medicines or chemicals. As we keep saying, children explore their environment as part of their normal, natural, and development. They learn about new things by trying to open containers to see what is inside, by mimicking what they see adults do, and then they also learn about new things by putting things in their mouth. Now, swallowing the poison, or it could spill on the skin, or spraying or splashing it in the eye, or it could even be inhaled. A child may also be poisoned if they are given the wrong medicine or a wrong dose of medicine. Now, what are the factors that may determine the severity of poisoning? So, the type of poison, the dose, did the child just take a spoonful or was it the whole container? The formulation, is it liquid form? Is it solid? The route of exposure, did the child eat it? Was it inhaled? Then the age of the child, because as we said, yeah, for younger children, they are more vulnerable because their skin is thinner. Then the state of nutrition of the child. So children who are not well nourished or children who are malnourished, they tend to have a lower immune system. and so they are more likely to have more severe forms of the poisoning. What are the common poisons around the home? So we could have medicines, so over-the-counter medications like paracetamol, cough and cold medications, iron tablets, or prescription medications like diabetes or blood pressure medications. Then cleaning products around the house, so bleaches, dishwasher powder, methylated spirits, and then other products like cosmetics, pomade, pesticides, and herbicides. We could also have poisonous plants, animal or insect bites, or the rat poisoning, or the poison, the one we used to catch cockroaches as well. So, what are the risk factors? What predisposes these children to poisoning? So, we would notice that some of the risk factors run across all these home accidents. So, inadequate supervision, then the age of the child, younger children are more at risk for gender, males are more at risk. Now, children with developmental delays may have a harder time understanding safety messages or differentiating between safe and dangerous items. So what are the risk factors? So we are still talking about the risk factors. So the unsafe storage. So if household chemicals and medications that are not stored in a locked, high or safe place, they can easily be accessed by a child. Then putting substances such as kerosene. So when we put kerosene in mineral bottles, children would think it's a drink and then they would go in to drink it. The characteristic of the agents also could be a risk factor. So if it's a liquid, liquids are easier to swallow compared to solids. We can talk about the physical appearance of the agent. So let's say if it's a medication and if it's made attractive to the child, as we see in the picture, these iron tablets and multivitamins, they look like candies. So the children would easily want to reach out and eat it, and that could lead to poisoning. Now, how can we prevent our children from being poisoned? The most effective way to prevent children coming into contact with the poison is to remove the poison itself, that is, if possible. So, medicines and chemicals should be kept out of reach and sight of children, preferably in an isolated, locked cabinet. We should always store chemicals in their original containers with appropriate labels. And we should never ever tell a child that a medication is sweet because it may give them the wrong idea. When they see this medication somewhere, they'll be like, that's the sweet that my mom told me about. And then they would go and drink the whole bottle, which can lead to poison. And then we should prevent keeping these kerosene in mineral bottles. So some studies have suggested keeping it in a darkened material in which the contents are invisible so that it will not attract the children. So, what should we do in case of poisoning? Remove the child from the source of exposure. If it's on the skin, remove any contaminated clothing and then rinse the skin with running water for about 15 to 20 minutes. If it's in the eyes, you can rinse the eyes. If it's inhaled, you get the child into fresh air right away. Please do not try to induce vomiting by giving palm oil to the child. The child can easily aspirate and then that will lead to serious complications. Always seek urgent medical care. And then, if possible, bring along the vomiters or the remains of the products. That's if you are aware of it, that was taken when you are seeking medical treatment. So, there's a poison control center in Accra. They are located at Rich Hospital. We could also call them. They would help us to know the first aid to give to the child. Next, we would want to talk about choking, suffocation, and then strangulation. From as early as 2 months of age, babies start putting things in their mouth. They are touching, feeling, and mouthing anything within reach. And that is how they learn about their surrounding environment. The issue is that they've not mastered the art of chewing and then swallowing technique until they're about 4, 5, or even 6 years old. And as we said earlier, they have a smaller airway that can easily be blocked. What are the choking risks that we find around the house? So as you see in the picture, sausages, popcorn, crackers, carrots, apples, grapes, groundnuts, peanuts, berries, even chewing gum. They are all choking risks. Then for other substances, you can talk about the coins in the house, jewelry, screws, pins, magnets, pen tops, beads, the chew toys, the eyes of stuffed animals, even the Christmas lights and pebbles. They can all they are all risk factors. Okay, so now how can we prevent our child from getting choked if possible? So instruct the child not to play while eating. Ensure they sit quietly while eating or drinking. If they are playing while eating, they can easily choke on the food. Never ever force young children to eat. We see it often. We try to close their nose and then open their mouth and then put the food in it. It can cause them to choke. Please do not give them food while they are crying. Whole nuts and seeds should not be given to children under the age of 5. If possible, remove bones from meat and fish before serving to the child. Then hard fruits and vegetables like carrots and apples should be cooked, grated, or mashed. Then choose toys appropriate to the age of children. Avoid toys with detachable small parts. When we are picking up toys for our children, we should look at these. There are these toys that have these small balls inside that you can shake and then it makes noise. If it breaks open, the children can easily put these small substances in their mouth and then get choked on it. And then ensure small objects are kept out of reach of children. Now, for suffocation, never use a pillow for children under the age of 2. Do not use large blankets. Do not let the blankets cover the face of the child during sleep. For all these reasons, the child can easily roll, bury their faces in the pillow, and then become suffocated. Babies should not be put on to sleep on sofas or in adult beds. And then they should always be placed on their back. So what is advised is that they should be kept in a crib or a bassinet close to the bed. I mean, close to you in the same room. Then the crib should be free of any blankets or stuffed toys or stuffed animals in it. And then they should be placed close to the end of the crib and always put on their back to sleep, never on their tummies. And for strangulation, cords on curtains and blinds should be kept short and out of reach of children. Then plastic bags should be stored out of reach of children because children are funny. They can just place their plastic bags over their heads and say, "Yeah, I'm a monster," something like that. And then they can easily choke on it. So please keep it out of reach of children. When choosing clothing, avoid ties, ribbons, or crocheted jackets that may pull tight. And then when outdoors too for your older children, they should always be supervised because the rope swings can cause present as a strangulation hazard. So what should you do if the child is choking? So it's important that as caregivers, we train in basic life-saving skills. We should always seek medical care. If the child is coughing, encourage the child to cough. And then infants and young children may cough instinctively. So this training in basic life-saving skills grant us would equip us with the necessary skills to know exactly what to do when the child is choking, or even for any of the home accidents, we would know exactly what to do. But basically, for choking, it's advice you give. So you put the child either on your hand, like as you can see, or if the child is bigger, you can put them across your lap. Then you give 5 back slaps. If the object is not dislodged, you turn the child and then give 5 chest thrusts. But you should always seek urgent medical care. And then finally, we want to talk about drowning. Now, playing in or around water is lots of fun for children. A small child, however, can drown in a few centimeters of water, like in a bathtub or bucket. As little as five centimeters of water in a bucket can cause a little child to drown. So every exposed water source, no matter how shallow, poses a significant danger. Now, what is drowning? Drowning refers to a process of having trouble in breathing from submersion or immersion in a liquid medium. It may result in death or even long term consequences and disabilities. Children may drown in bathtubs if you are running baths for them, in a swimming pool, either at home or in the community, in streams, rivers, lakes. So when they are going to bath, some children are going to bath in the rivers, they are going to fetch water. I think there was a case a while ago about 2 brothers who had drowned in a river at Asamankese when they were going to take their bath in the river. Then pits where water is stagnated, such as wells. Drowning among young children often occurs without the dramatic splashing or screaming, which is often depicted. It can happen quickly in as little as 25 seconds. Then what are the risk factors or what predisposes these children to drowning? Children under 5 are the greatest risk because of their inability to assess water hazards. And then nearly 80% of those who die from drowning are males. Those with certain conditions such as seizure disorders, autism, or heart conditions are at higher risk of drowning. Lack of constant close supervision, especially when these children are near water bodies, because once we turn away, they may wander from the supervising adult and then fall into the nearby water body. Improper or inadequate barriers from water sources. So when these water sources are not barricaded well, children can easily stray into them and then fall in it. When there's no water safety equipment such as life jackets or these personal flotation devices. And then when we over rely on floaties and inflatable toys, they may easily deflate and then the child may drown. So what can we do to prevent a hazard, to prevent the drowning? Eliminating a hazard where possible is the most effective preventive method. So first is constant close supervision. Never ever leave children in the bath unattended, even for a moment. So if you're going to run a bath for a child, you don't bring the child and say, "Hey, I forgot the towel." Leave the child and then go and bring the towel. As we said, in as little time as 25 seconds, the child can drown. So make sure you have everything you need for a bath time before you bring the child. Adults should actively watch children in and around water, without any distraction. Then for young children, we should maintain close proximity that's within arm's reach when they are near water. Don't rely on other children to keep an eye on your little one. I think we all heard of the story of a popular Nigerian singer. I think about 2 to 3 years ago. He was not at home. The mother of the child was not at home. They had left the child. I think the child was about 3 years. The child had just turned 3. They left the child with a nanny. And according to the nanny, she took a call. The child was left unattended. When she came back, they couldn't find the child, only to realize that the child had drowned in the swimming pool in the house. So we should never leave children unattended when they are near water. Buckets and baths should be left empty when not in use. Then small containers like these basins that we use for washing, it should be safely stored when we are done using them so that they are not filled with rainwater. Wells and open barrels should be well covered. And then holes in the ground dug for building purposes should be drained of rainwater or filled in to prevent water from collecting in it. What else? What else can we do? Parents and caregivers need to learn these life-saving and first aid skills. So as I said, these are life-saving. It helps you to know exactly what to do in the case of an emergency. And if possible, we should learn to swim and then teach your child to swim as well. Pools should be properly fenced. So if there's a pool at home, it should be four-walled with a gate so that children cannot easily have access to it. And then there should be water safety equipment in these pools, like the life jacket. Now, what can we do in case of drowning? Drowning injuries arise because a person cannot breathe and obtain oxygen. And then, as we keep saying, it's crucial for parents and caregivers to learn these basic life saving skills so that they would know what to do when there's an emergency. Studies have shown that children who receive immediate resuscitation before the arrival of medical personnel have improved outcomes. So, what is our take home message? Most of these home accidents are preventable. Then, close supervision with a safe environment leads to fewer injuries. We could learn and practice these basic first aid skills. It saves lives. So, I think there's this site, Allison, they teach this free basic first aid and basic life saving skills. So we could learn from there. And then we should start small, make one safety change today and build on it. So even as caregivers, we should make it a priority that right after this meeting, we would go around our house, even if it's just one, look around our house, anything that could pose as a hazard for our children, would make sure to change it today, and then we'll build on it as the days go by. So, in conclusion, it's vital to recognize that children are not miniature adults, and several factors, including physical attributes, cognitive abilities, and degrees of dependence on others, play pivotal roles in determining the likelihood of injury. So, thank you very much. These are my references. So, please, if there are any questions, be grateful.
Yay. So we do have people, or someone just applauded the presentation, and we are grateful for that. We have some few minutes. Oh, okay. Keep them coming, keep them coming. Yeah. Just like the kids, we all love to be praised, don't we? Okay. So please, if you have any questions, comments, concerns before we move on to our next part. I love that one. With a blast of the hearts. Please, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, we can start writing them in there. Just as Ife says that it's a beautiful presentation. We are grateful to you, Dr. Fair. Linda is also appreciating what you've done for us here and now. And I am just going to go to our YouTube. Does someone have the hand up? Yes. Doc, please go ahead.
That's how I will.
Oh, oh, it was a mistake. Oh, okay. I think it was a mistake. All right. Please, if you have any questions, comments, anything you would like. Oh, it's not. Okay. Doc, please go ahead. Let me ask you to unmute so that
Hello, I couldn't unmute, so
sorry.
Sorry.
okay. Dr. Fair, beautiful presentation. I couldn't
Thank
believe you
you.
could finish the 66 slides in the time you were given, but you have done a miracle.
Exactly.
And it was very detailed. Thank you very much. Um,
Thank
I think we
you.
need to do a course on basic CPR for parents after hearing you
Yes.
speak. I just wanted to add that in Ghana, not a lot of us use bassinets and cots for newborn. So it's okay
Yeah.
if you are co-sleeping as a parent. Just make sure that you the baby is, how should I explain it? So usually if you are doing co-sleeping, the moms will sleep on their sides and they usually will have their arm under, maybe I should put on my video so people can see me. Oh, this one
Yes.
too. You have to give me. Okay.
Okay. We are coming. I think that would have to be done by Godi.
Okay, so they put their arms like their hand under their head and they usually have a C shape so they call their body and then the baby is usually in front of you.
Doc, you
That's
can
the
do it now.
okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
Um I don't even know. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, so they usually will have their hands like this, and then they are lying down on their side, and they usually curl around the baby. Okay, it's a perfect way to sleep because usually God has made it such that mothers don't sleep deep when they are co-sleeping with their baby. Even a turn of the baby, you wake up, and so it's perfectly safe. I know when we're in medical school and things, the Obonis were telling us that we shouldn't co-sleep because it increases inf SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. But the research shows that it doesn't actually. And lots of cultures co-sleep, it doesn't increase. It actually reduces because there's more supervision, and then it also helps to promote the exclusive breastfeeding. So if you're co-sleeping as a mom, don't worry at all. You don't need to do the cots or the bassinet, and just make sure that your back is not turned to the baby. That's it. And it's safe. So thank you, Rachel.
Thank you
Thank you,
too.
Doc.
So, yes, we've had an addition to it. If we don't have any questions, comments, concerns currently, we'll move on to our next thing so we save time. Yes, Rudolph is here. Oh, thank you, Issa. He says it's a wonderful presentation. I don't know whether it's a he or she. I'm sorry if I'm changing your agenda, but he says it's a wonderful presentation. And yes, just as Doc mentioned, you did all of that in 45 minutes. Are you cool? So, in moving on to Rudolph, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about you and technology. What is it about you and technology that we all need to learn or we all need to understand? Well, someone who's going to help us understand that is in the person of Rudolph Ampofo. He is very, very passionate about using technology. For that, I can tell and I know, because in working with him every single time, it's always been everything about tech. Anything and everything that you do should be tech related. Um, okay. I had wanted to move on to Rudolph, but then I see a hand up, and I think I see a question in there from Issa. Please, let me take it before I go on. Okay. So it says that, please, did you talk about foreign bodies in the ear, nose, and throat? If yes, could you throw more light on it?
Okay, thank you. So I think I didn't talk about the foreign bodies in the ear. I only talked about they swallowing the foreign bodies. But then if you're able to um how do I even put it? If you're able to check the house for these token risks, they are the same items that the children put into their ears, they are the same items they are putting into their noses. So if you're able to check our homes for these, then we can prevent that. But once we see a sign, so for the ear, if they see that they are holding their ear, they are putting their hands in their ear or even in their nose or in their nose, we should seek urgent medical care, because if it's left in there for too long, it can become easily infected. Thank you.
That's so true. Okay, Steven's hand is up. Steven, let's ask you to unmute. Oh, okay, please unmute and go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much for that insightful presentation, Doc.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I just want to add that one effective way of preventing poisoning is to stop serving children drinks or water straight from the bottle. You make them drink from the bottle. They get used to it. They might drink a safe drink, but in a quantity that can be poisonous. Or when they take anything that is in a bottle, maybe the kerosene we spoke about, then they drink from it. You can imagine the quantity they'll take. So it's good you serve them in a bottle, I mean in a cup, and supervise them or help them to drink. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the contribution, Steven. And Ramatu is also adding that excellent presentation. She has learned a lot. She says that this home accident for children, it does happen a whole lot. And in just in a twinkle of an eye, you could probably lose sight of your child. Or if you keep paying attention to them and monitoring them, that could prevent a whole lot of these. Thank you to Ramatu Al Hassan. Okay, since we're done with questions, if you have more or if later other ones come up, please write them in our chat box. We would like to hear from you. Oh, Stephen, you have your hand up again. Please go ahead. or it's an old hand? Okay, so if it's an old hand,
It's an old hand.
okay. If it's an old hand, then we'll move on. And in moving on, you and technology. Today, I told you we are packed. We are going on back to back. We want to get a whole lot more. And then we get to lunch, my favorite thing now. All right. So, Rudolph, he is someone who is very, very passionate about technology. How do we use technology to help people, especially for our neurodivergent learners in Africa? And with that, he currently has been working on a whole lot of projects that oversees how kids who are neurodivergent learn and the usage of behavior related support systems for behavior challenges that we get to have, especially in some instances of kids who are on the spectrum. Aside that, Rudolph is someone who has been working throughout Africa and Ghana, as earlier mentioned, as the lead for EdTech Hub. And with EdTech Hub, Rudolph has been actively supporting various ministries of education in 5 African countries. He is geared towards fostering a reasonable way of exploring how well we can use or leverage tech and balance it off with evidence-based things. So I am not going to talk much. You would see how he will do his presentation. Rudolph, please, the floor is yours.
Um, Hello everyone, and thank you, Ida, for the introduction. I think you've overhyped me, but really do appreciate the intro. And yes, thank you everyone for just giving me the space to be able to talk to you today about technology and how it can be used. One thing I always say is that before technology, there was manual processes, right? So if you have the phone that you use to send a message, at some point in time, it would go from one person to the other sending messages. So technology is always rooted in everyday activities. And so I'm always keen on exploring with folks how we can use those tools, everyday tools, to support or augment their activities. And I've taken a big interest in supporting children with behavior and learning challenges like autism and other intellectual developmental disorders as well. And so today, as we explore how technology can help us achieve our shared goals, essentially ensuring that children are learning, we also need to understand that it is not a cure. Technology is not a silver bullet. You need to look at it as a bridge that can help us collaborate effectively and be a bit more efficient at what we do, which we do absolutely well. So that's essentially what I'm going to talk about today. And I think it's always important to, look at the fact that we all want the same thing. Each and every one of us on this call today, I'm counting about 69 people. You are here today because you believe firmly and strongly that all children deserve to thrive. And, children with behavior challenges or some form of disability are not excluded from that vision. Right. And so our goal is always to ensure that children with behavior and learning challenges like autism are also supported to succeed through collective effort. And the work of parents, teachers, and professionals is not easy, right? Providing the kind of support you all do to children or individuals with challenges is not a simple activity. And so, thinking about how we can collectively get to that end goal, given that we live in a community, not just this community, but we live in a society which requires us to work collectively towards the same vision. It's essential that we look at how technology can really help us coordinate and share knowledge across each other. Even as we are here today, we are using, Zoom, YouTube to really communicate and engage and share insights and knowledge. And so you realize that technology has the power, the ability to bring us together, but it really requires us to be intentional and want to be together. Um, and a lot of the time we've seen several pieces of research studies that tell us how parents or providers or practitioners are empowered and to really provide a bit more support to learners, and how communication in children have improved because of a digital tool. It could be a screen with a visual aid helping the child to indicate what they want to do, or it could be a set of instructions that are delivered to someone over a communication channel. It's always important to understand this. Now, one thing, like I mentioned, with technology, it relies on us to be very intentional. And I've mentioned also collaboration, right? And so there's a series of principles out there, but one of the things I found really interesting is what we call collective impact. As the name suggests, it's essentially looking at how we all come together around a series of principles to ensure that we achieve the same vision. And given that we all want children to thrive, what the principles of collective impact is saying is that we all have a common agenda, which we do. If we run a poll, it will be 100%. We all have a shared agenda. Now, with that shared agenda, we need to have a shared way of measuring what success looks like. So, what success looks like should run across from the parent to the teacher to the professional who are all forming that support structure for the child. Now, if we are all measuring the same things, then it essentially
Hello,
means that yes,
Rudolph.
yes,
Sorry to cut you. Are you showing your slides?
yes. Can you see my slides?
No, it's not showing.
Oh, okay. Let me share my screen again. I thought I shared it. Oh. Okay, can you see my slides?
Yes, please.
Oh, I have such wonderful animations, but nevertheless. Um, yes, thank you for the prompt. So again, with collective impact, we have the shared a common agenda. We have shared measures. We are tracking the same things. Essentially, if we are tracking the number of times a child would respond in the right way, that should be shared across everyone, so that we are all looking at the same things, which would mean that it essentially lead to the fact that we'll be doing about the same things to reinforce the particular outcome we want to achieve, largely making sure that whatever we do at home, in school, at a therapy center, in a hospital, they are all complementing each other to ensure that we are working towards that common agenda. Now, if we are continuously communicating about what we are doing, those reinforcing activities, and sharing the measures across board to really help us understand how we are working towards our shared agenda, those are the things that collective impact is preaching. Now, with all of this, we need to have a strong backbone support. So essentially making sure that each and every one of us are supporting each other based on our strengths and weaknesses. Because when you think about the amount of time a child has, they spend a good amount of time at home because that's their primary place, right? But then they go to the school, they go to the therapy center to receive certain sets of services. Now, it's important that each player or key factor within these environments work as a backbone support to ensure that we are sharing the same measures or the same information about the reinforcing activities we are doing to towards that common agenda. So when you look at the principles of collective impact, it's really looking at how we rally around the child to then work towards the same goal. Now, like I mentioned, it takes a village. And parents, caregivers have their function in that process. Teachers also have their function in that process, and we have professionals who are also working in their own environment to ensure that we are getting to where we are going. Now, when you think about parents, they have the home system and caregivers. So it's an avenue to really ensure that everyday routine tasks are happening based on the things or the guidance that the professionals have set out. And the teachers really would then use a lot of this information to think through how these practices come into the classroom. So when you look at the entire system, everyone has a role to play, which then takes us back to that backbone support that we have to give each other. So it's not always the case that we are in silos, right? So when you think about the whole principle of collective impact, I would like to think that each and every one of us are doing these things. Now, I talk about this because it would then take us to how technology can really help us achieve these goals. And that's why I started with technology exists within the manual. So there are manual processes which then allows us to think about how we can do it more efficiently. So when we start thinking about technology, it's always exciting to really know that there are tools and services that can automate and accelerate how we do things. But it's always important to understand that there are risks involved, right? Again, it's not meant to replace the human expertise, but it's meant to augment and facilitate collaboration. We deal with specific aspects in terms of private information, which needs to be kept, secure. So as you run through your day on day, it's always important to think about how specific technologies can support you in a particular, collective impact pillar. And just to understand, this is then the initial set of pillars on collective impact and how it intersects with technology, right? So a common agenda, communication tools become extremely relevant in these situations. So WhatsApp, it could be a text message, it could be a phone call, it could be this particular, webinar or forum. At the end of the day, we have the platform to share the common agenda we have among each other. Again, you have communication tools like WhatsApp. You have dedicated platforms, Google Sheets, forms, to collect and track data on how children are performing on their activities, the specifics of what we do with these learners. And that goes into the reinforcing activities. Now, many a time, not necessarily in the space of neurodiversity, but you realize that when reports are given, not a lot of information is provided. But with more context, with more information, you're able to understand how you can actually work towards a shared goal. So you have tools that allow you to enter information, about the specific details of what you're doing with a child. And in some cases, some platforms would set a character limit. So if you put anything below 100 words, it will flag, you can't submit this form. These are all ways of using technology to ensure to push people to provide as much information as possible to enable us do the right thing, the things we've set out to do. We also have the continuous communications, which make really focusing on how we are sharing updates with each other. So you could think about the phone call you've made to the next best person about how a child is doing, or to then really inquire about how you can address certain situations. Some of us are here to learn about accidents. So it all forms part of the continuous communication. And again, the backbone support, how you are supported remotely. So we talk about how technology is supporting with coaching and training opportunities for individuals to really catch up and do and practice some of the things outside of the original environment. Now, I did mention that technology, is for us. It's not the other way around. So here are just a few examples of how studies have identified technology as being used. In certain cases, it was identified that therapy providers spend up to half a week, so about 2.5 days each week working on administrative tasks. Now, when you think about these numbers, it means that for a good 20 hours in the week, it's either you're writing a report, it's either you are, taking down the data on notes, on what you've done with the child and so on and so forth. And that can eat up time. And so how do you balance that with, spending a lot more time with a child? And so in these instances, technology has been seen as a way of reducing the admin time, where you can quickly input information, share that information with people, and then get the feedback relatively quickly. So that's one instance that technology has been used. Another one is about early identification. Now, it's no news to anyone on the call that early identification is critical so that you can start early intervention. And so online screening tools can really help with early signs of basically running through a screening tool, answering those questions. And what is really critical is that level of feedback. And so it's one thing to fill a form, but it's another thing to get live feedback that you can validate or cross-check with another person. And so technology has now is one of those things that I use. And now with the advent of artificial intelligence and the like, you can really just understand what people are saying, use a particular logic to then provide some recommended feedback, which can then be quickly verified. Now, and there's also the bit about continuous learning and support, where technology can then be used. So, for example, the presentation that was done by Rachel, there is a world where technology can analyze everything and make that information available to you, such that when you're asking, even after the call, you can then ask specific questions that you were not able to ask and still get a response, largely because there's information, there's data about how to basically position yourself to avoid accidents or minimize the risk of accidents more broadly. So you realize that in these cases, technology plays a role. It really depends on how it's used, by whom, and the amount of intent and care that is put in the use of those technologies. Now, the last piece of my presentation is really to touch on the potential risks, because it's one of in one case people always sing the praises of technology without acknowledging that there are some risks. Now, if you don't know the risks, how can you work against these risks? So when we take the initial presentation, understanding the risks of accidents and how it can happen and where, allows you to put in mitigation measures to really protect yourself. It doesn't mean that you don't work against these things, but it means that you are better informed and well prepared. And so privacy and security is a critical thing. Whether you're dealing with paper or a Word document, you're still entering personal information at a place, which needs to be protected. So whether it's on paper, in a folder somewhere, whether it's online on a document or on your machine on a document, you still need to take the necessary measures to ensure that that information is protected. So for example, sometimes in the banking, in the banks, when they send you a statement, you need to enter the last 4 digits of your bank account to be able to open it. This is a safety mechanism. You have your username and password so that people cannot enter your find your details. This is a safety mechanism. So it's always important to, as you think about adopting and using technology, you also need to think about the privacy and security component of it. Affordability is also another challenge that many a time individuals face when they are thinking about using technology to make their activities more efficient. Now, it tends to be expensive on the surface, but focusing on increasing efficiency and growth of practice is critical. So the whole idea is that as you are able to do more and impact more people, you're able to establish your credibility. You have a bit more time to take care of a bit more cases and clients, which then balances out. So economies of scale plays in here as well. And then the last piece that I'll touch on is over reliance. Technology is a tool, and especially in the wake of limited skills in therapy delivery, it's always still important to build capacity of people and not use technology as a replacement, because in providing support to learners with intellectual neurodevelopmental challenges, the human connection is critical. That human factor you can't take away. And I can count as so many research papers that emphasize the fact that digital tools work best when paired with ongoing relationships. You don't dump a tool and expect it to work magic. You build a tool with human connection, and that has been seen to be one of the most effective ways of really taking advantage of the promises of technology. So this brings me to the end of the presentation, and I would say again, we all want the same thing, but it's important to know that technology is not a magic bullet; it's a bridge. Collective impact requires a shared vision, and commit to one collaborative action this week with the next best person you have using technology, whether it's a phone call, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's sharing this video or webinar with the person. Commit to one collaborative action. Thank you.
Thank you, Rudolph. Please, won't we show him some love? At least we can use our reactions to do that. And if anyone has any question, comments, concern currently, you can start posting them. I would give you, let's say, a minute, and then quickly delve into our next part, which is my favorite for now. Okay, so fortunately, everyone understood the whole bit about technology. Everyone got the whole thing of technology. And yes, why was Rudolph talking about technology, technology, technology? It's for one thing and one thing only. Mission Pediatrics has collaborated with Craft Education Technologies. So yes, they are our partners, and together we decided to help you help us. How do we help each other? That is what we are going to focus our attention on. And for now, I would like to warmly welcome you officially to our, yes, it's our Parents Roundtable Season 5. And we've been doing this for 5 good years, 5 consecutive years. Please show some love for Mission Pediatrics. We are doing well, are we not? And since we are doing well, we know that we can't do this thing alone. We need your help. And as such, today is a very huge milestone for us in our journey of officially launching our Hubeta AI-powered therapy companion. When we talk about therapy companion, what do we mean? How do we mean? I would need you to help me at some point in time during the demo. But for now, we just want to get to know a brief history about how we started this Parents Roundtable and get to know why we started it. In starting it off, we had just a simple vision, and our vision was that we wanted to create a space where caregivers, where teachers, where health professionals can all come together to share knowledge, we share experiences. We do all these things for one purpose, to be able to build a supportive community around our kids and then their development. Over the years, we've had varying arrays of webinars, and all these things have been there for a purpose. We've brought about facilitators, we brought about families, we brought about professionals. They come share their experiences with us. They help us to get to understand things. So you remember in the month of just this year, in the month of February, when we had our wellness or our well-being month, We did bring in our psychologist. Doc always starts the year. My boss, Dr. Marilyn Mabel Wilson, she always starts the year and helps us understand something about neurological pediatric care. And we do this because we want you to be able to have that knowledge that is outside the consultation room, where you get to have an extended time for talk and all that. We are always geared towards child safety. We are always geared towards helping each other. And as such, we've been talking about prevention of home accidents today, and Rudolph even helped us understand how technology can be used in that. So with that in mind, looking at our numbers in our communities, we have our WhatsApp community page. And with this WhatsApp community page, we have 925 participants who are on there. That's close to 1,000. And aside that, we have our YouTube channel also that has 262 subscribers, a whole lot. And our Facebook page also has over 3,000 participants or members who are there. And every year, our goal has been that we help you get to learn. And how do we do that? So we have this parents roundtable, we have the public lecture. These two things are geared towards equipping you as a parent, as a caregiver, as an educator, to be able to learn how we can use our videos, the various information that our facilitators help us get to learn, and to be able to get the right information. That I must emphasize, because currently we tend to have a whole lot of information, a whole lot, but which one is right from wrong? These things helps us get to learn the best one. And with that, having all these members here, we always appreciate the fact that people come up and ask, what do I do? How can I help my child who is having this, or my child who has this condition, or my learner in this position? What do I do? How can I support these kids? What do I do? With all these questions that we get to hear, Mission Pediatrics partnered with Craft Education Technologies. And with that, we also incorporated one of the screening tools that Dr. Marilyn Mabel Wilson has been using in her assessments. It's called the ASD red flags, what we call at the clinic the MPAST. MPAST has been incorporated into an AI chatbot that helps you get to perform a bit of a screening exercise. But remember, as Rudolph mentioned earlier, having this or making this accessible to you, the public, is not and does not in any way replace therapies. Neither does it replace that human factor, because we all work together to be able to help our kids. And that platform is what we call Huberta. Now, one would ask, what is Huberta? Huberta is not just a chatbot. It's something that is there as your everyday partner. That's why it has that tag of being your everyday partner in child development. You don't pay for it. We are that kind, aren't we? So being kind, it's for free. It is for free, and its objectives are to do what exactly? First, we would want you to be able to provide a very quick and reliable source of getting information. Yes, we all have all these questions and all that. What do we do? How do we support, as we keep on hearing? These reliable answers are there, not just in terms of ASD, but we have things of ADHD, we have things of IDD embedded in it, and other learning difficulties or challenges. So if you are in class as a teacher, a facilitator, you tend to scratch your head because you're having a crisis. You don't know how to manage a child at a particular point in time. Yes, you can use this, get a quick answer, know what to do to support that child right there and then. So I like to call it your first aid. Aside that, we also want to be able to support our parents, our caregivers, our therapists. Yes, we. we are also part of it because we don't know it all. We don't have it all. We tend to also need support as and when the need arises. And aside that, our third objective is to be able to provide guidance at whichever time and wherever you may find yourself. That is why it is free, no charge, nothing. So this evening, we would have a demo. And for us at Mission Pediatrics, our objective or our vision is that we want to look beyond this as a screening tool. We want to see Huberta grow wider, grow bigger, have lots of content, have lots of information, have lots of support, and that it becomes accessible to every single family, wherever they may find themselves. And in there, yes, we are telling you that we are populating it. We are not done populating. You can never finish. So what we need is that we need you to use Huberta. We need you to help us. As we keep refining the responses, as we keep working alongside you, we work to improve on things. So for today, we are going to use Huberta to help us shape feedback, as we listened earlier from Rudolph's presentation. We're going to ask Huberta some questions. We're going to find out what we can do. So in launching Huberta, in getting to move this further in terms of technology and growing ourselves, please, this is not just for parents, neither is it just for caregivers, neither is it just for teachers or facilitators. It is also for therapists, as earlier mentioned, and for our health professionals. We want to help each other. So whenever you get to have a case, wherever you may find yourself, go online, type in anything and everything. Let's make sure that we use the screening tool that Dr. Marilyn Mabel Wilson has been using to help you get to conduct your own screenings in your own time. Now it's time for a demo. I need volunteers. Who would like to volunteer? I'm not going to ask you to answer questions. We're going to try this together. So you can just put up your hand, and then we would be able to get you to unmute, and we walk the talk. I wish I had the varying array of things that we have in there, like one facilitator or teacher, one therapist, and then one parent, but I can't do that. So I can maybe let's get like 2 people who would like to volunteer to do this. Who would like to volunteer before I start sharing my screen? I'm going to count down to 3. So in 3, 2, 1. I
My will,
get,
please.
oh, okay, administrator. Please, is that your name? Give me your name so that I can call you by your name.
Okay, I'm Lana.
Lana, okay.
Yes, please.
You are not administrator, are you?
Okay,
No.
Okay. Please, someone else was talking.
I am I, I am the one behind administrator.
Okay, okay. All right, thank you for volunteering. Now,
Yes, I'm the one behind administrator.
thank you so much, Lana and administrator. I get to share. Okay. Please, what do you see on the screen? Lana and administrator, what do you see, please?
Yes, I see you better.
Thank
Huberta.
you. Administrator, you also see Huberta, right?
Yes, please.
Yay. So now we're going to say hello to Huberta. We want to find out what we can do. Today, we want to only limit ourselves to the screening aspect. We don't want to go and explore other things. Yes, our last month's webinar is in there on nutrition for ASD. I'm going to give you an assignment. Go scout, go find things out, explore with it, but not now. Today, we are only doing screening. So let's start off by typing hello. Lana, do you see what's on my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, so if you start off, you would need to give us your consent that you would like to continue this. If you'd like to learn more, you can click on that and then it would explain everything for you. So you get to understand before you move on. So can we click on continue, Lana?
Yes, please.
All right. So off we go. Lana, what are the options that we see? And the one we said we're going to limit ourselves to for today.
Okay, therapist tools. Or are we
Okay,
doing quick screening?
we're going to do quick screening. So it means you can
Okay.
see what I see also. Good.
Yes,
So we're going
please.
to click on quick screening.
Yes.
And I must say the quick screening is what we use at the clinic. That's what we call the MPAST. So the Mission Pediatrics ASD Red Flag Screening 2, that was done by my boss, Dr. Marilyn Marble Wilson. So it's telling you the number of questions that it has and all that and all that. So we'll start. Can we, Lana?
Yes, please.
All right. So we go. Lana, please give me an answer.
Can I create a mock child?
Exactly, please do. We don't need
Okay,
specifics
5.
here. 5. Okay, 5. I'm waiting for your response, so I'll just input and then we go.
Yes, I'm reading through.
Yes, ma'am. Would you like to read out so that the others can hear? Maybe those who are just listening and they may not be seeing the screen.
Okay. Does your child not communicate with words or sounds, even though he or she may be singing rhymes, reading numbers, alphabets, or labeling? Example, saying nana for banana, saying water when thirsty.
So which one should we pick?
Yes.
Okay. Next one.
Does your child not point with his or her index finger to request or share interests, but rather use another's hand to reach, touch, or lead when requesting? Example, pointing to a toy they want versus taking your hand and placing it on the toy. Okay, so I feel can I give an input right away, please?
Please
Is
go
it
ahead.
possible? Okay,
Yes.
so I feel the questions are asked in the negative. So
Yes, this
you'd
one
sort
is.
of have to go over again to really try to understand it in that regard.
So they are in varying forms. You see, when you are screening for ASD, there are various aspects in terms of
Mm-hmm.
communication, the sensory aspect. You would see it in there. So you just give me your answers. Let's go. Then we get to
Okay.
see lots of time. So others can also ask their questions
Okay,
later
so
when we're done.
yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Third one.
Does your child not respond to or turn to his or her name when you call, but responds to cartoons spontaneously? Example, turning when their name is called versus reacting to their favorite show, but not their name. Yes.
Yes. Okay. We go. Next part.
Does your child not use communicative gestures? Example, nodding, waving bye, and head shaking. Example, waving goodbye when someone leaves, nodding for yes, or shaking their head for no. Yes.
Next.
Does your child repeat words or phrases said by others immediately or after some time? Example, repeating a question instead of answering, saying lines from a cartoon, or echoing words they hear often. Yes.
Okay. So We're almost there.
Finally, to help us understand your child's current communication abilities and provide the right screening summary report, tell me how your child usually communicates their needs and wants. Share as much as possible. Example, using words, pointing, pulling your hand, making sounds, or showing objects. Okay, so you would have to type this out.
Yes, please.
Okay, so holding your hand and drawing you to an item they want sometimes.
Okay. All right. We go. Social interaction. So we are done with the communication aspect. We are going on to our next bit, social interaction. Please go. Can we continue?
Yes, please.
All right. So you see the good thing about this. You can continue later if for time constraints. But for this one, we are continuing now. Next.
Does your child prefer to play alone rather than with others? Example, choosing solo activities even when peers are around. Sometimes.
Next.
Does your child interact mainly to get help from adults or to retrieve toys from peers rather than for social play? Example, asking for assistance but not engaging in shared activities. Yes.
Okay. Next.
Does your child engage in play that seems different, sorry, for their age, such as mouthing, chewing, throwing, spinning, or lining up toys? Example, repeatedly spinning wheels on a toy car instead of playing with it as intended. Yes.
Okay.
Does your child sometimes appear to ignore others, even close family members? Example, not responding to greetings or avoiding eye contact during interactions. Yes.
Okay. Next.
Does your child not pay more attention to the tone of your voice or familiar nursery rhymes than spoken words? Example, responding to a song but not reacting when the name is called sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay. We are almost there.
Does your child not have or make stable peer friendships, or do they struggle to form and maintain close bonds with other children? Example, not having a best friend or not showing interest in social connections. Yes.
Okay. Well done. Well done. Almost, almost. Please give me something.
Okay. To wrap up our social interaction screening, tell me how your child interacts with other children and adults. Example, do they initiate play, prefer to be alone, or mainly seek help from others? Mainly seek help from others, but prefer to play alone.
Okay. Am I right? Can I post?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Good. Now, our sensory part. We are almost done. Can we continue?
Yes.
Okay.
Does your child put objects in their mouth or lick surfaces? Example, mouthing crayons, chewing toys, licking walls or sand, sometimes.
Sometimes. Let's go.
Does your child cover or plug their ears in response to noise when upset or for no clear reason? Example, blocking ears during loud sounds, crowded places, or sudden noises, sometimes.
Sometimes. Mm-hmm.
Does your child make repetitive or unusual hand or finger movements? Example, flapping hands, staring at fingers, waving at themselves, or making shapes with their fingers? Yes.
Yes. Okay. Almost there.
Does your child often walk on tiptoes, jump up and down, or climb excessively? Example, frequently tiptoeing indoors, jumping repeatedly, or climbing on furniture. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Does your child seem highly focused on alphabet numbers, colors, or scribbling? Example, repeating letters or numbers, drawing the same things repeatedly, or sorting by color? Yes.
Yes. That's part one.
Does your child show a strong fixation on lights, fans, wheels, switches, or water play? Examples, staring at ceiling fans, spinning wheels on toy cars, flipping switches repeatedly, or running water for long periods, sometimes.
Sometimes. Almost there.
To wrap up our sensory screening, tell me if there are any other sensory behaviors you've noticed in your child. Example, strong reaction to textures, smells, or other sensations. Strong reactions during teeth brushing.
Oh, okay. But I was typing. Sorry. So strong reaction.
During teeth brushing.
Okay. Now let's see. Can we go on to get your report?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Please read what it says.
Your screening is complete. We now have all the information we need to generate a report. This will help you understand the results and explore the next steps. Please note, if any red flags are identified under this screening, it does not necessarily mean a child has autism spectrum disorder, but rather the child needs to be evaluated for ASD. Would you like to view your report now? Yes, please.
Okay. Nice. Please go on.
Okay, so for communication, it says a child's communication signs can affect asking for needs and learning. Fun chats, songs, and story time can help build expressive and receptive skills. Social. Social interaction shows the child often plays alone and occasionally seeks help, which can slow teamwork and group play. Okay. Try small group play or community games to build connections. Then sensory behavior. Sensory differences and some repetitive interests can distract from learning. Create a calm space and use sensory play to improve focus. Next steps. 1, to get a formal diagnosis, please contact Mission Pediatrics at 024-724-1447. And step 2, start a focused activity for 30 minutes daily. Examples, a 30-minute picture book read aloud, a guided sensory activity with Play-Doh or sand, a simple puzzle session, or a short pretend play scenario. Would you like some recommendations on immediate actions you can take based on the screening results? Discuss results or take action? Which one
So
am I
that you
allowed
can
to?
you can continue at your own pace later. For this one,
Yeah.
we just wanted a demo. So we
Mm.
wanted to know you just try it out. Just get to know it, get to understand it,
Mm-hmm.
get to know how it works. But as earlier mentioned, this does not replace a formal assessment because
Mm-hmm.
it's a screening tool that helps us get to know that is my child at risk? What are some of the things I can do? Probably you've observed certain things over a period. You are not sure of what to do. You don't know when to do what and all that and all that. What we do is that every single day we edit this, we add more. We tend to put in a whole lot more. Okay. So you will get to have all those other details later. But help us help you by giving us the correct information. So probably at home, you've gone through this. At a point in time, you were doing it late at night. You've seen this. You need help. You don't know what to do. That's how come the take action is there. That's how come you get to go over. You get to have other support mechanisms. You remember I mentioned that we have last month's webinar that we did on nutrition in autism. All those details and things, they are all here. So the aspects that helps parents and caregivers, the aspects that help teachers, the aspects that help health professionals, and then the ones that cuts across every single one of them. Everything is there. Each and every time we have these webinars, we load or we put the content in Huberta. We do this because we want you to have access to this even when we are not with you. So you don't necessarily need to go and watch the whole webinar. When you need something small out of it, what you need, you put in what you need, it helps you get something. Then you move forward by seeking help where the need arises. That's how come you have the contact numbers there. If it happens that you may not be able to contact us, but you can reach out to another health professional that may be closer to you, please go ahead. But it's also always ideal that if you would want to get to understand things better, reach out to us and then we help you understand all that we need to understand. How has your experience been on Hibeta? I need just two people to tell me. Aside Lana, Lana has done everything. Thank you so much. I beg you, an applause for Lana for me. A big one for Lana. And I need two people to just share their experiences. What have you experienced with Hubeta? Can I stop sharing? Oh, no one is sharing whether I should stop sharing. Okay. There's something here. Oh, Edwina says that I like you better. Good job, Doc. And the mission team. Yay. I'm blushing. We thank you, Edwina. We appreciate the fact that you are appreciating us for this. Please, what has your experience been? Ah, Salome says that Huberta looks simple. Exactly. Because we want it to be accessible to everyone. We want you to be in the comfort of your homes. Do what you need to do as and when the need arises. Priscilla also says that awesome. Thank you. Am I not blushing? I think by the end of the day, I would be looking all red and all that. Okay, so we didn't want to take so much of your time. We wanted to work within our time that we have for us for today. We are thankful that you joined us. We are thankful that you participated in all three sessions that we had. Is it sessions? No, all three different topics that we've had, from how to prevent home accidents right on to technology, how you can use it to support yourself and then your ward, and to Hubeta, it's lunch. Please, we are going to make this accessible to you from Monday. We're going to show you how to do it and how to get around Hubeta. We would put it on all our social media handles and get you to be able to have access to it. I must say that thank you so much to our volunteers. Thank you to administrator. Administrator, you didn't say anything. Would you like to share with us what you also experienced, please? I'm sorry for relegating you. Pardon me. If your hand is up or if you're somewhere, can we ask you to unmute so that you can share whatever you'd like to share with us? Administrator, okay, let me ask you to unmute. Oh, okay, administrator has typed. Okay, so let me stop calling you administrator. I say administrator because that's what I see on it. Okay, so administrator says that it is a laudable innovation and a very helpful tool for educators. He is Dr. JC, an educational psychologist. Thank you. Ah, good. Thank you for mentioning your name, Dr. GC. All right. Ramatu also says that Hubeta is very simple and parents can easily use it without difficulties. Oh, are we not glad? Thank you. So thank you for being here. Thank you so far for saying that this is good. We thank you for being here. And we also would like to say thank you to Craft Education. Crafts, without you, we can't put our things that we do out there. We appreciate you, Rudolph and team. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know I have been worrying you with all the questions and yeah, the back and forth we've done for this day. Today, only God knows. Doc says that big ups to Craft Education and Rudolph for partnering with Mission Pediatrics to make this possible. So please say thank you to them for us. We appreciate them for appreciating us and for helping us to be able to help you. Please, whenever we need information, help us gain that information so that we can also better enhance Hubeta, because our goal is we should be able to fill it with content, get you the information you need, and then you use it as and when necessary or possible. Thank you, everyone. And yes, we have our health walk. You want to know the meaning of Hubeta? Okay. Rudolph, please help us with the meaning of Hubeta. I'm glad you asked that question, Dr. GC.
So Hubeta means Hunu behavior therapy assistance. So Hunu to see, to find, to discover. And then behavior therapy assistant. So Hubeta.
So you see that we always keep learning something new. We always keep. I remember when I got to understand Hunu see. Okay. So then it made sense. So please help us see, help us popularize and populate it also. Then we get to help each other. Before I forget, we are still in our anniversary mode. We are not done celebrating our anniversary. And as part of it, we've launched the Hubeta chatbot. We are also going to be having our health walk that is going to happen on the 20th of next month of September. So on the 20th of September, we're going to walk from Ayimenta to Pediasi Lodge. Please join us in this campaign of helping us all. Come be with us. You get to associate with all of us. We get to walk, we get to share ideas, we get to interact, we get to network. That's the main thing. The key one is to network. And yes, we'll be having transportation from Mission Pediatrics to the place. So for those who are around, in and around Mission, please come over to the clinic and then we send all of you over there. If not, you can meet us there at the Ayimensa, that's that place. And yes, we are going north. We are going to Wa. We are going to Wa on the 11th to the 14th. On the 11th to the 14th. Please. Doc says her Kambu is ready for the walk. So please come join her. Come join my boss so that we all walk and enjoy ourselves and have fun and stay hydrated. And we'll be having our special education webinar that will be happening in November. We changed dates this month because of a number of things, but it is happening in November. Stay tuned. We'll start posting our things from this coming week so you get to see, be a part of it, and learn more. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate you. We thank you for taking time to be with us. Enjoy your week. Have a blessed one. Good night.
(2025). For many families in northern Ghana, access to specialized care is a distant dream. But together, we can change that. This outreach will offer free developmental screening and therapy services, parent and caregiver training, support groups and awareness campaigns, capacity building for local health workers, medication and assistive tools at no cost to families. We are calling on sponsors, partners, and volunteers to join us in making a difference, because every child deserves a chance to thrive, because every child matters. Go North 2025, reaching the unreached, healing with heart. This year, hope is heading north. The Go North Medical Outreach Team proudly presents Neurodevelopmental Medical Outreach 2025, a life-transforming initiative dedicated to children with autism, cerebral palsy, ADHD, learning disabilities, and other neurodevelopmental conditions. Location: Upper West Region WA. Date: September 11th to 14th, 2025. For many families in northern Ghana, access to specialized care is a distant dream, but together we can change that. This outreach will offer free developmental screening and therapy services, parent and caregiver training, support groups and awareness campaigns, capacity building for local health workers, medication and assistive tools at no cost to families. We are calling on sponsors, partners, and volunteers to join us in making a difference, because every child deserves a chance to thrive, because every child matters. Go North 2025, reaching the unreached, healing with heart.